Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome, and welcome back to those who have watched a couple of my videos. Man, do I have a doozy for you today. Let's get into this. So, CBR number 4, 2025. This was on March 30th. The race starts at 7 in the morning. What I'm showing you guys here is just a warm-up lap. Easy 4-corner crit. Dominguez Hillside, I believe. The Carson side course is literally across the street. So this is turn 1. We're going to go counterclockwise on this day. Luckily, they let us warm up on the course because, I don't know. I guess they allowed it. So the upside was that they did let us do that because I noticed that right here in this section, this is the hardest section to kind of deal with because of the cones and because in this section, once the race starts, it actually rained more only in this specific section. I don't know why, but everywhere else it was raining too, but it's just that this section, which is already difficult to deal with when it's, wet, it just rained more. So yeah, I mean, it sucked. But that was turn 2. After turn 2, you kind of go up this little roller and that's pretty much it. It's nothing really complicated. I used to really struggle with this field, this course. I think the first 2-3 times I did it, and then I don't know, man. Like I said, I feel like my training has heavily improved. Also, my VO2 threshold and everything. I've been really trying to focus on getting it, pumped up and at that point where it's like I can actually make moves and recover really well. So yeah. So turn 3, from turn 3 to turn 4 is the shortest section of this course. It literally flies by. I mean, you're going from one corner to the next in under, what, like 8 seconds? Maybe less than 10 seconds? Way less than that. So it really depends on the field, of course. But yeah, so turn 4, once you make it, we kind of go up this another little roller. It's a little less of a grade. It's like 2%. The other side is more like a 3-4%. So yeah. And then we're back at the start-finish line. So I felt pretty good. You know what? Even though I only slept like 3 hours, I still felt really, really good this day. I had a brand new jersey. I had just asked to be made, and everything was good, man. Like I just felt like good. There's no better way to explain it. I just felt like right. Like I'm like, you know what? Today's gonna probably be my day where I'm not looking for a podium spot, but if I get one, great. I just want to place in the top 5 or 10. Period. That was the mission, right? And then besides that, before that, actually, safety, because I don't race in the rain because I've seen a lot of people's videos and something always happens. So yeah. But let's get to it. So lap 1, I treat it like get the race jitters off. Everyone's feeling extra pumped, extra froggy usually on lap 1, and about maybe 3-4 laps in, it chills out a bit. But lap 1 was just that. It's just like, you know what? Just let people fly by you if they want to, and you can make it up. It's no big deal, right? But definitely figure out what section of, if you want to look at it again, you see the pavement, how it's actually wet again, but it's actually way more wet than it was earlier. Yeah, so this is what I mean. It was raining more in this specific section. Actually, little puddles of water started to form at that bottom second turn, so we have to be extra careful with that. But yeah, so there was some really strong riders for sure. I mean, it was kind of a small field. I think there was maybe no more than 42, 45. I'm not quite sure. I know almost half of the field ended up dropping out because either they got dropped or some of us ended up in a crash, or some of them just ended up so far back that they just could not catch up after the crash. So yeah, and the other thing that I'm going to end up doing, I'm not crazy about it, but I'm going to do it because I don't like the fact that this particular rider has a very erratic line choice every single time that I've seen him at a race. And that's going to be, I believe the name is Miguel Perez. So 442, dude. And I'll spot him out. I'll point him out. So here we go with the race again. Angelo directly to my right hand side just passed me up. I know Critwit's in this race. He's right there to the left hand side in the sort of the green blue bike. I think that's Mr. Lewis on the top left hand side. I know Josh Cagney is up front with the Cal Poly rider. I think that's Oliver. And Chad King is the winner of today's race. So yeah, and then a couple others. So I'll point them all out. But here we're getting very close to the cones, and keeping my eye out on this specific rider again. I noticed that he was going to come up on my right hand side and try and like squeeze me inwards to take this line, and I'm like, yeah, no. So I closed that door immediately. And I remember I was like, you know what, this is going to be a dicey one. I remember I think on the second lap I'm like, yeah, this is going to be one that I'm going to have to really keep my eye on. So here when we're getting up to this roller, again, I'm choosing efficiency too, because I'm like, I got to make up these spots as easy as possible on myself. So we slow down a little too much, and I still got momentum, and I just do a couple pedal strokes, and boom, I just pass up a bunch of people, and I get on Everett's wheel. So I'm like, okay, I'm in good company here. Top 10 wheels, right? So the idea is just to kind of just stay up here for as long as possible. If I get filtered back, make another move again somewhere and just make up those slots again. So yeah, again, every time we go past these white lines, yellow lines, I am trying to keep myself a little more upright and a little bit more of my weight to the right side, just to keep the traction down. But yeah, other than that, this section of the course wasn't really all that wet. Here on the right hand side, 405, that's man, who is that? 405. I think this is like his second race. That's Nathaniel. There you go, Nathaniel. So, or second, maybe third, I'm not quite sure, apologize. But yeah, so he slots in. I got a USC rider here to my left, and this is the rider I was talking about, the one that just passed us up on the right. So this dude, the cones are coming up really fast, right? And there it is. He takes that line that I'm referring to, that I closed the door on him in the first place on the last lap. And keep note of that, okay? Keep note of that specific line of what he just did for the 5th lap. Okay, so again, we come up to this roller and we slow down heavily again, and true to the channel name, I go in the gutter. It's a clear open line, and I'm like, all right, well, here I go. And boom, back in prime position. Josh is to my left. Legrand's rider, which ultimately crashes out, I think that's Chase. He takes a pretty wicked inside line, kind of dives it a little bit, but yeah, he still makes it, and the other riders seem to be fine with it. So the speed is kind of getting a little spicy here, so I'm like, you know what, I need to slot in. So Oliver comes up on the inside a little bit, let him slot in, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay on his wheel. He's a bit taller than myself, so he looks like a pretty solid wheel, and I know Josh right in front of him, he's done really well in these races, so I'm like, okay, good company, right? Sitting pretty, as they say. So we're coming up on lap 4 right now, and again, I'm like, okay, these dudes are doing really well. I'm just gonna stay back here. I completely forgot. This is the reason why you don't see any data. I completely forgot that my computer was on pause. I don't know why it was on pause. I may have accidentally pressed the button at some point in time, and I just have no data. But at least I recorded this time. At least I recorded this time. But yeah. So here's the guy that I have an issue with. 442, man. Here there's no problem. He's, the line is his. He's already on the inside, whatever. But see, he keeps trying to take this like divey outside line. Like I kind of get it. In this situation it's okay. He slots back up. I'm like, all right, whatever, And then I take that gutter line again, and the peloton is actually moving a little faster on the left hand side. I kind of have to squeeze a little bit of my brakes because I noticed that his back wheel kind of skid out for a second. I'm like, dude, I don't want to fall. So yeah, I'm trying to just kind of slot back in to someone's wheel here, but I remember Everett, and then I think he had someone behind him, and they wouldn't let me slot in. They were kind of pushing me out, so I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna fight you for it. It is what it is. I'll slot in behind you. So I slot in behind this rider. I'm not quite sure who this is, man, because the number was, our numbers are on the left hand side, so some of the numbers I'm not gonna be able to catch. But here we go. Devin's right here. I think this is Devin. Yeah, Devin's right there on my left-hand side. This rider coming up right here on the left is an S2C rider. I'm not quite sure who it was. I know an S2C rider also fell. I'm just not quite sure who. So that sucks, man. Definitely update me on who got dropped, like literally dropped, and you know what your overall condition is. But here we go. Here's the problem lap. So remember the line I was talking about earlier with 442? So Chad's going to come up on my right hand side right here. He's going to take this outside line. He's going to make it past the cone, and he's going to slot in just fine. This Lagrange rider that you see right here up front is falling behind, and boom. So the rider on his left, that was crit whip, right? Nothing against crit whip, you know, accidents happen, man. He just kind of brushed up a little bit. It looks like the group was kind of pushing him a little from the left to the right. But I'm going to slow-mo this for you and kind of break it down a little more so you can see. So this is turn 1, we're going left. Again, that specific rider, 442, is on the outside. You can see that the Lagrange rider on the front, he was up front, I'm not sure for how long. He's starting to fall back on the right-hand side, right? So then I don't know exactly what causes the group to start going more right than they already were. Yeah, I don't know. So Chad King right here, right-hand side, he's good. You know, he takes that outside line. He manages to make it into the past before the cones even come up in a good line. So he's okay. 442, he's coming in pretty fast, directly in front of me. The Lagrange rider is falling behind on the fastest section of the course. I'm not quite sure why. I think that's Chase again. 442 decides he's going to take the same line that Chad's taking, but at a bad time. Critwit is on my left-hand side. Now, watch what happens when 442 takes the line that Chad was taking at a very fast and last-minute moment. Right here. I'm going to slow it down even more. So Cohen's literally right there, right? He abruptly changes his line. The group is going a little to the right. Crit makes a little contact, and boom. He hits the shoe. He hits his back wheel. And, well, you've already seen what happens. I mean, I had no way to save this. I don't have space to work with to save it, right? So I end up eating it. Angelo eats it, SDBC rider eats it, and like 2-3 other riders also eat it. I think the SDBC rider had it the worst, man. That sucks, dude. I'm really sorry about that, man. Update me on his condition for sure. My watch fell off. Derailleur hanger got bent. I got a little banged up, but I'm alright. But yeah, man, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll definitely catch you guys at the next one. Peace out.